What's the most disgusting thing you have seen done in school? NSW. In 3rd grade, there was a kid trying to impress this very pretty girl. He would always sit beside her while the teacher read to the class. One day the kid felt sick and he kept asking the teacher if he could call his parents and go home. The teacher insisted the kid wait till recess so she could walk him to the office. So halfway through reading time, the kid feels like throwing up and decides to get up and run to the garbage bin. However, in the process of getting up, he barfed all over the pretty girl beside him. Some went on her back, some on her hair, and some of it on the kid's own clothes. I was the kid. The school drama teacher pooped in the hallway, twice. One of the few teachers who actually gave a crap. Last day of school in grade 6, we were sent to clean out our lockers for the summer. For most kids, it was notebooks, pens, lost homework, nothing too crazy. There was one kid though, always being a big crap disturber, had left a frozen lunch in his locker for 2-5 months. Instead of being a normal human being and throwing it out, he microwaves it. So after putting it in for 2-3 minutes he opens it up. It was steaming green mold. I still gag thinking about it a decade later. The smell was disgusting. 3rd grade. I watched some kid from afar blow his nose into a Kleenex. He walked over to the trash to throw it away, but right before he did, he looked around to see if anyone was watching him, then stuffed the whole thing into his mouth and walked away while chewing on it. I sat there with my biggest WTF face. When I was in high school we had a set of somewhat secluded bathrooms near the gym and locker room. This was a locker room solely used by athletes, namely the football team, and was seldom used as it was on the opposite side of the school as the classrooms. I left mid-class one day and went to this locker room because I needed to get something out of my football locker. The stalls in the locker room were situated right in the middle, and when walking to my own I would go past the stalls. As I got closer to the stalls all I could smell was an unbelievably strong smell of crap. Nothing out of the ordinary, as there was often many a large football player taking a massive crap there. Well, as I got closer the smell grew stronger, and when I saw the stall I could see the door was open, some clothes laying on the ground, and 2 legs that were almost kneeling on the ground. Once I started passing the stall and going in front of the ajar door, the smell grew even worse and I could see a crap-like fluid on the ground. The sight that came into view will haunt me to this day. This kid, a freshman I believe, must have liquid crap sprayed himself before or during taking his pants off. It literally looked like someone had a bowl of liquid crap and threw it in the air. It was all over the floor, on the toilet, on the walls, and more disgustingly, all over him. He had no pants, no shirt, and had a towel that he was trying, uselessly might I add, to clean up his mess. When he saw me standing in shock looking at him, he had the most fearful, embarrassed look on his face. All he said was, "I crapped myself," and slipped. The shame in his eyes was almost palpable. I instantly felt bad for the kid. School had started only a month or 2 before, and all I could think of was that if this was discovered he would be forever known as the kid who crap all over himself. I left him standing in his crap and went to my locker and grabbed another towel and a pair of shorts, socks, and t-shirts. They were dirty but pristine compared to what he had with him. He took a shower and cleaned himself off, and I think ended up going to the office and going home. He never really said much to me other than thanks, but every time I saw him I could see the gratitude in his eyes. Still one of the grossest things I've ever seen, but I think I got some good karma that day. Some kid sitting in the back of class started staring at this chick and masturbating. Everyone found out and the parents were notified about the incident. 9 hours bus trip to another state for a football game. One of the players on my team must have drank close to 6 bottles of empty dew and had to take a pee. We gave him a liter bottle to pee in and he does. The problem is he filled it up quicker than we could find another empty bottle, so he ended up pee all over the bus floor. He must have had a very vitamin-rich diet, since it was the nastiest smelling pee I've ever encountered at the time. We ended up making it worse by spraying Axe all over the puddle to cover up the smell. The pee bottle also stayed on the school bus for another 3 games before a coach found it. We blamed it on the volleyball girls. One day in my sophomore English class, my teacher was lecturing as usual when some kid gets up and goes to sharpen his pencil. I thought nothing of it until about 2 minutes later when I smelled crap. It spread through the class pretty fast and someone finally said, "Oh God." Look at the pencil sharpener, there was a pile of crap right next to it and crap on the handle. The kid that didn't stay in that school much longer. Wrestling tourney, I was trying to turn this fat kid with a gut wrench and he crap on me. Yellowish liquid that looked and smelled like chicken broth. That would be what I did. Crap my pants in kindergarten and didn't want to tell any teachers about it because the kids would make fun of me if they found out. So I waddled to the bathroom and dropped my pants underwear, tighty whities, after which I started rapidly scooping the crap out of my pants with my hands and trying to fling it into the toilet. Most of it got on my pants and the stall walls. The smell got to me and I ended up vomiting repeatedly onto the floor, my hands, and my pants. So this ordeal ends with me walking to the office, crying, covered in feces and vomit, and being forced to wait outside because I smelled so bad. My mother eventually came and picked me up, and a good portion of the kids found out about it anyway. My friend in college told me about this one kid in his class freshman year cut a hole in his hooded sweatshirt and stuck his dong into the hole. It was a hoodie without a zipper, so he would just jack it whenever. One time, an attractive girl had to be in his group, so when she sat down next to him, he put his hands in the hoodie pocket and started jacking it. He moved away his senior year, but came back to town for some unknown reason. He started working at one of the pizza places. Suffice to say, my friend never bought pizza from that store again. In 7th grade I caught a guy fricking a stromboli in the bathroom. Also, in 6th grade we had to run laps in PE. While we were running laps, this kid a few yards ahead of me just stops, shakes his leg, and starts running again. As I ran past where he had momentarily stopped, I saw a freaking turd on the floor. Mother pooped while running laps. I love how he knew exactly what to do. Just shake the turd out and keep going. Food fight. Ran out of food. Kid fills a glass Snapple bottle with his own urine. Hucks it. He's now a physicist at University of Edinburgh. Jarrett. We were watching a movie during class and it was dark. So this girl gets the idea to start touching herself during the movie. A few people notice and giggle, but nobody says anything. Then she decides it's a good idea to take the whiteout from her desk and shove it down her pants. Somebody near her whispered, "Ashley, what the frick?" and she ran out of the room crying, whiteout in hand. I'm still not sure if she ever saw the ending of Amistad. My 9th grade Spanish teacher didn't let people go to the bathroom under any circumstances, even though we had a 4-minute passing period and 5 bathrooms in the whole school, 1,000 plus kids, and there were always lines out the door. One kid obviously had to go, but the teacher wouldn't let him. He held it for like half an hour after asking, clearly super uncomfortable. Then he told her he'd pee in the class if she didn't let him go. She should have listened. Happened in my high school too. Except this kid pee in a water bottle and put it on her desk when the class was over. After that day she always let people use the washroom when they asked. I didn't see it, thank God, but someone I go to school with once crap pee in someone's backpack. Oddly enough, he's actually a pretty cool guy most of the time. Some dude in my high school did this, but he was a colossal freaking butthole. I heard a sneeze in my history class. I didn't think much about it, but then I heard slurping, so I turn around and there is this guy with a handful of his own snot just slurping away like it was some kind of soup. He seemed to enjoy it, but I almost puked. One girl was giving a guy a BJ under the desk during my high school health ed. Substitutes are just clueless, but it was dark and we were watching a video on the projector. I'm sure you were watching the video. I saw the guy stand on a toilet then use the force of his stream to open the stall door. Now that's just cool. Someone handcuffed a kid to the showers in the locker room. No one ever used the showers, so he wasn't found until the next day when classes came in. He was not naked, but he was very cold, and I'm pretty sure he didn't fall asleep considering the water was hitting him the whole time. Whoa, that is fricked. When I was in 6th grade, this kid got a raging boner in the middle of warm-ups during PE. At the time we were currently running laps, and he proceeded to violently punch his penis and scream, "Go down, go down." Needless to say, it didn't listen to him. I had a student with terrible acne who would pick the scabs from his face and eat them. Oh, I have another one. I have a friend who has leukemia. She goes back home every Friday for chemo. Her professor takes points off of her grade for attendance even though he knows her reason for missing class. I walked in on a kid having a mental breakdown in the bathroom sophomore year. There was something wrong with this kid mentally when I met him, didn't know exactly what. He rolled with the mentally challenged kids. He was alright, sat at my lunch table from time to time and talked about the Knicks. Kid loves basketball. Anyway, I walk into the bathroom and he's full blown melting down. I later learned he was the subject of a prank during his gym class the period before. He was punching walls, broke the hand dryer, and then went into the stall and grabbed a gaggle of turds and threw them against the wall. I could only hope they were his. In the midst of all this yelling and hitting crap, he jumps into the wall where he threw the crap. I was so goddamn perplexed I just stood and watched the whole time. He didn't even realize I was there until he was done flipping out. I felt so bad for him. I had no idea why he was acting like that, but I know it was with reason. If this didn't take place in the newer bathroom in school, things may have turned out differently. This kid lived a hop and a skip away from school, and this bathroom was on the first floor, newly constructed, relatively soundproof. The windows opened in a weird way to keep kids from climbing out of them. I kicked one of them out and told him to go home and change because he would not hear the end of this one. One time in middle school, I had to spit a massive phlegm nugget on the bus ride home. I had a window seat in the middle of the bus, so I just figured I'd lean my head out the window and spit the loogie. I didn't realize that the girl sitting behind me had her window open as well. I spat that snot wad out my window, and it whipped straight back into Janie's face. I knew immediately what had happened because several people had gasped. The damage covered area from her upper cheek down to her chin. I've never seen someone so horrified in their life. I got a pretty good laugh out of it, still feel bad though. Lol, lung biscuits. Freshman year of high school, I catch wind of a giant turd in the main bathroom. Yeah, okay, big deal. Soon after, lunch hits and as I pass the bathroom I see all this traffic and people laughing and talking about the crap. Alright, I might as well check it out. By then a small crowd has formed around the stall and kids are taking pictures. Apparently this kid was constipated for 6 days or something. This thing was as thick as my forearm and coming out of the toilet bowl because it was so freaking long. It must have been one solid piece 2 feet long. People said he had to stand up during the end of the delivery of this monster because it had nowhere else to go. Even our tight-ass disciplinarian didn't care about the cell phones and was just as blown away by it. In the end the poor janitor had to dispose of it by manually cutting it into pieces and putting it into a trash bag. I didn't eat lunch that day, but I witnessed the birth of a legend. In the middle of math class, some dude just throws up hard all over his desk and into his binder. He then shuts the dripping vomit binder, puts it in his bag, just walks out. The last time I saw him, just leaving the room taking bath with him without cleaning his desk. You have been visited by the grandmother gymnast comment my body is my temple, so you can do that when you're old. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.